Hey, it's Shambhu here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Samsung T105g from Tracfone. This is an inexpensive brick or candy bar style phone, and it's inexpensive. It costs only about $10, although it may end up being more expensive than you think because it is what they call a single minutes phone, so that when you say buy a 60-minute airtime card, you get 60 minutes. However, for example, if you had a double minutes phone like the T301g, you would get 120 minutes when you added a 60-minute card. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Otherwise, it is a fairly nice phone. It's light. It's under 2.5 ounces. It's quite sturdy looking. The back cover is also easy to take on and off. One thing I like about it is that the door for the socket for the charger or the headphone has a sliding door that you can slide open and close, which keeps the dust out. One thing, as you can see, is that it's got a small screen. If you compare it to a T301g, for example, you can see the difference in the two items. One thing that is an advantage of this particular simple phone is that there's no button for a web browser, which is a kind of a perennial source of irritation for some Tracfone users because they accidentally press the web browser button and it ends up using a minute or two of their time before they get around to being able to turn it off. So that's one advantage. The keypad, as you can see, is there are two ridges here that you identify the center key, but otherwise there's no separators between the rest of the keys here. So it's not quite as intuitive, but since you are able to find the center key, it is possible to use the keypad without having to look at it all the time. And then some of the other things that are there are fairly, say for the center button here, if you press the top one, it increases the ringing volume, and the down button decreases the ringing volume. The right and left parts are for text messaging. This way you go straight into the text message, and the right hand side you're into the message menu. And then there are a few other tools. This is a more simple phone, but there are some things you can do with it. There's an alarm and a calendar and a memo where you can write some notes. And if I can find it, there are even a few extra things you can do. There's a world clock, a calculator, and interestingly, despite the fact that it's a small screen, it is actually usable because you can use the scroll keys here for the plus, minus, and divide and multiply functions, and then the keypad for the numbers. So some of the older phones with small screens had a different calculator menu, which made them difficult to use, but this one is just fine. Yeah. And then some of the other ones, converter, timer, stopwatch, are fairly self-explanatory. One thing I did want to go over was how to set the ringtone. This does come with 10 ringtones, but it's not that obvious how to select them. So what you need to do is to go to the profiles, and then this gives you the profiles for how you want the phone to ring, whether it's normal, silent, driving, meeting, outdoors. And what you want to do is, when you pick one of them, let's go back to the normal, and then you say options, and you go down to edit, then you press select again, and this is how you set the actual ringtone, because then you can say here's the call ringtone, then you press change, and then you have your selection of ringtones that you can select. And so it is a little bit hidden from view, but it is there. Okay, let's go out of that. And so, as I said, it's a fairly good phone. The only drawback is that the airtime is more expensive. You can add a double minutes airtime conversion card that would make it the same, that would send it back to being a double minutes phone. However, you have to spend about $20 for that conversion card, which no longer makes it as cheap a phone as you expected. Thanks. I hope you found this useful. For more information, please visit or look around my website. Thanks. Bye-bye.